A very warm welcome to Newsfeed on the 6th day of June 2022, a day that has seen the Safina presidential candidate Jimmy Wanjigi being denied clearance by the IEBC to vie for presidency on August 9th. One of the many stories we've lined up for you on Newsfeed this afternoon. Now with that said, my name is Dennis Otieno. I trust you're doing well. Welcome to the broadcast. Now on to our top story this afternoon. Incumbent Meru Governor Kiraitu Murungi, together with his Deputy Governor Titus Nutichu, have been cleared by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC in Meru County to defend the seat. Kiraitu has described his campaign as the easiest of all campaigns he has done, being one of the long-standing politicians in the country. Ntuchiu, who is on the EACC radar for not resigning as the Finance County Executive Committee member, has responded on the same while echoing IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati's statement that he is elected as a state officer together with Governor Murungi and he does not need to resign as other state officers. The duo is set to compete with UDA's Mithika Linturi and Kawera Mwangaza, who is an independent candidate.
It's a race between Kiraitu Murungi and Titus Ntuchiu on one side and all the rest on the other side. So it is us versus them. And I want to assure you that the people you see at this morning, we are the winning team. Is it on 10th of August?
Yes.
On 10th of August, we are inviting you for a celebration.
I saw in media, I think last week, on Friday or this week, people trying to say, oh, the deputy governor should have resigned. These are the people whom I would call busybodies. And I'm surprised. Simple facts of law. The Constitution is written in English. And people cannot read the simple English. So I'm just wondering, it's not in Greek. No wonder I think some people have even gone to question some of their academic credentials. Because if people cannot understand simple facts of law, then I'm wondering how can they even run a complex government?
Meanwhile, LAMU gubernatorial aspirant Omar has been cleared by IEBC to carry out her campaigns towards the upcoming general elections. Speaking after IEBC cleared her for vying for the gubernatorial seat, Omar has assured LAMU residents that she will work to bring investments back to LAMU County.
Tunataka kufanya siasa za kimaendeleo na uchumi, sio siasa za sifa mbovu. Kwa hivyo tunaomba kura za walamu wote, kila umwezae umjuae, ili tuweze kuzingatia Lamu moja na mama kama governor wa kaunti ya Lamu. Kwa hivyo serikali yetu tofauti kubwa ambayo itakuwa ni uongozi mashinane. Tutawacha kuleta ajira kutoka nje, tenda zetu kuzipeleka nje, matatizo yenye uchungu kama masala ya ardhi kuyahakikisha, sababu tunaona mama wenzetu wanavyodhalilika kutafuta nyumba. Kwa hivyo mimi nitasema sera kubwa ni kwa mwanzo ni siasa za umoja, sababu tunajua kwa mama hakuna mtoto wa nje, hata jirani ni wako. Kwa hivyo tutazingatia umoja wa Lamu County ambao umejaa makabila kila aina, dini tofauti, na tutahakikisha kwa rasilimali zetu zinatumiwa kujenga boma la Lamu County.
Elsewhere, 7 gubernatorial candidates have been cleared by the IEBC in the race to unseat Kirinyaga Governor WAIGURU in the August 9th polls. The 7 included woman representative WANJIGI, who is running on an independent ticket, Senator Charles Kiberu of Jubilee, former Governor Joseph Ndathi of TSP, and economist Mureithi Kagai of NARC Kenya. Others in the race include former Mwea Member of Parliament Peter Gitau, Komba Ndau, and Peter Ireri. Governor WAIGURU is expected to present her nomination papers today afternoon in Kerugoya, closing a long list of 8 contestants who will battle it out as at the polls. The candidates have promised to conduct peaceful campaigns as they traverse the county in search of votes.
The ECD's classes, we introduce feeding systems such that we engage all our children back to school. And we're also going to provide bursaries for them that are poor within our community so that they can access easy and affordable education.
Kwa sababu tuko na ushindi mara mbili. Mama leo na Rais Amoro Odinga pia wamekubaliwa kupigania kiti ya president ya Republic of Kenya. Na sisi hapa nyumbani tumepatiwa ruhusa ya kupigania kiti ya gavana Kirinyaga.
Kila karatasi ambayo walikuwa wanaangalia wakaangalia kwa upole na ikawa kwa upesi na ikawa tumeweza kupatiwa certificate. Kwa hivyo pia nashukuru wale ambao wote kanisa na pia nashukuru wale ambao wote ni my supporters ambao wamekuja pamoja na mimi ndio tuweze kuja kukua cleared, ndio tuweze kuanza kampeni zetu kirasmi.
Safina presidential candidate Jimmy Wanjigi has been denied clearance by the IEBC to run for presidency. The IEBC chair Wafula Chebukati cited failure to meet the requisite signatures and failure to submit copies of IDs of supporters who endorsed his presidential bid. Chebukati said Wanjigi attached transcripts of his education contrary to the regulations which states that each of the candidates must submit a certificate from a recognized institution in the country. So let's now cross over to our reporter Micah Gongo, who's following up closely with the story at the Bomas of Kenya. Good afternoon, Micah Gongo. Kindly bring us up to speed.
Yes, good afternoon, Dennis Otieno. Indeed, they can get you loud and clear from Bomas of Kenya here. As we entered in the morning, we found, Jimmy Wanjigi had already arrived, and it was scheduled to only 3 candidates or 3 aspirants should have appeared to IEBC before the chairman, Wafula Chebukati, and he had already arrived, and he went through all the required positions to make him at least gain the formation on whether he will be on the ballot box in 20. When he arrived at Chebukati or IEBC chairman, he was told, no, you will not be at the ballot because you don't have credentials that to make you be able to vie for presidency. They are required to be having degree certificates and even 48,000 signatures from at least 24 counties across the country. But Jimmy Wanjigi was told that he only met 23 counties. That's a total of 46,000 signatures from at least 23 counties, Dennis Otieno. And he was also ruled out because he didn't have credentials, a degree certificate to make him vie for presidency. Now he was saying that he has gone through academic routine of at the Daystar University, but has not yet qualified, has not yet graduated, since he'll be graduating in December this year. He was standing on ground that once he has already studied for 4 years and not yet received his certificate, he's able to vie for this one, even if he haven't received his certificate. But Chebukati said it's a requirement, it's a must. He must be having the certificate for him to vie for presidency. So we're still waiting for other 2 candidates at 2 p.m. Eliud Mudhiora Kariara of Independent will be arriving here to submit his credentials and certificates. Also, we also have another Njeru Kadhangu of Ford Asili will be arriving here at 3 p.m. We'll be we'll be waiting to see if they will also make it through to the list of 5 candidates that have already qualified, or they'll be put aside as IEBC did to Jimmy Wanjigi earlier this morning. So we are camping here. Only 16 candidates have already, or 16 aspirants have already come before IEBC, and only 5 have already qualified or made candidates to vie for August 9th elections. Dennis Otieno.
Well, thank you, Micah Gongo, for that comprehensive update. Of course, Micah Gongo will be following up with the story as it develops, and he will be informing us further in our subsequent bulletins. But shifting focus to AZIMIO One Kenya presidential candidate Raila Odinga, who is expected to formally launch his manifesto a day after he was cleared by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC to contest in the August elections. Speaking during a meeting with the European Business Council last week, Odinga stated that the manifesto will outline his agenda during his first 100 days in office. Now let's cross over to Apollo Kamau, who's following up with the story. Good afternoon, Apollo. Kindly bring us up to speed.
Good afternoon, Dennis. We are pitching tent here at Nyayo National Stadium, the venue of the launch of AZIMIO One Kenya Coalition Manifesto this evening. It's an event which is expected to start at 5, and it's a very crucial day for this coalition, coming a day after the AZIMIO presidential candidate, Raila Odinga, was cleared by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC. They immediately hit the ground running to Nakuru, where they set the stage for today. And the main motive behind this huge event is to woo the undecided voters to back AZIMIO. And we heard the AZIMIO running mate, Mother Karua, speaking in Nakuru yesterday and saying, after today, after Monday, those undecided voters, after listening to the AZIMIO manifesto, will have a reason to back Odinga as their presidential candidate on August 9. But let's look at this manifesto. What is it anchored on? Falling back to December last year, when we had the 10-point program, which Odinga unveiled during the AZIMIO unveiling at Kasarani, he did cite or point 10 key points, and one of the points is Inua Jamii Pesa Mfukoni. This is one of the popular key points for AZIMIO, and even when he was conducting those listening tours across the country, this has proven to be popular during AZIMIO campaigns, because it's about 36,000 Kenya shillings monthly stipend to the unemployed, to those who do not have any income. And Odinga says this is not a handout. This is something which is actually going to rejuvenate the economy, create opportunities, help people to start businesses. And then we had this popular, another key point, which of course will be in the manifesto today, BAMBA, which is all about making Kenyans access health opportunities. It's going to expand or scale up the universal healthcare program, which is currently running under President Uhuru Kenyatta. Remember, Odinga in his campaigns has been insisting that he's going to continue with the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta, from healthcare to infrastructure and the Big Four. So this is a very timely event for him, and given we are about 63 days to the ballot, this is the moment for AZIMIO to sell itself to the larger nation, and therefore we do expect all the leaders here this evening. And if you look at the setup here, you can see how huge and how high the expectations are for this event, given we are going to have not just AZIMIO leaders, but even professionals and other interested parties from all walks of life who are expected to flock here this evening. It's a manifesto which is also focusing more on economic opportunities and health. It's stressing on the two key points. Remember, Deputy President William Ruto has his hustler narrative, which is targeting the youth, the bottom-up economic model, which has excited the nation, and he is running away with it big time. And therefore, to counter that and also to be on track, not to lose momentum, is this manifesto, which is going to be anchored on those 10 key pillars which were unveiled in Kasarani, focusing more on the economy and health. And I've just said, you know, Inua Jamii Pesa Mfukoni, there's BAMBA, there's Kazi kwa Wote, there's Uchumi kwa Kina Mama, there's the hashtag Inawezekana for the youth. All these economic-driven agendas which are meant to appeal to the nation. And it's not just about the youth. It's also about the women. Remember, the nomination of Mother Karua as the AZIMIO running mate is meant to appeal and woo the women across the nation. There's also the aspect of the Mount Kenya vote, where Martha Karua will be battling it out with Kenya Kwanza, Rigathi Gachagua in that region. And so this, ahead of after today, is going to set the stage for the momentum. 2 months of back-to-back campaigns, 2 months of selling this manifesto and hoping it will sway and convince the undecided voter why they should back AZIMIO, Dennis.
Well, Apollo Kamau, just before I let you go, now one of the key tenets for one to be elected in office is declaring support for the common mwananchi. Now, do you think the AZIMIO la Umoja One Kenya Alliance have it in their manifesto, to support the informal sector, the jua kali as well as the border sector?
Yes, of course. If you look at the 10-point pillars, or the 10 pillars which were unveiled last December, and if you look at what has been happening in campaigns, for example, I did cover the last Kamukunji rally by AZIMIO, where they fronted Jua Kali Artisans in Nairobi. It's in the manifesto, it's in the 10-point pillar agenda, and we do also expect it to be factored in the manifesto, which is going to be launched today. Remember, this election is about ordinary people. It's about the two presidential candidates and their agenda. It's about connecting with the people. And yesterday we heard Martha Karua in Nakuru saying what they are going to unveil today, the manifesto, is about real people-based issues. When they talk about real-based people issues, they are talking about reality. And what is the reality in the country today? It's all about matters to do with the economy. And that's why Kenya Kwanza ran off with a hustler, bottom-up economic model. If you look at Odinga's 10-point pillars, they are all stressing, if you look at the issue of health, if you look at the issue of the economy, Pesa Mfukoni, it's targeting the ordinary Kenyan, uplifting his status down there all the way up. And therefore, as we head to this election, the battle is to woo the ordinary Kenyan, to convince them to vote for either AZIMIO or Kenya Kwanza. And after the unveiling today, the task, not just for Odinga and Martha Karua, also for their lieutenants down the ladder, is to convince Kenyans to sell this manifesto and why they have to counter the narrative being sold by Deputy President William Ruto and his running mate Rigathi Gachagua, Dennis.
Well, thank you very much, Apollo Kamau. Apollo Kamau coming to us live from the Nyayo National Stadium, where the AZIMIO la Umoja One Kenya Alliance is set to launch its manifesto ahead of the August 9th general election. Now, moving on, Kakamega gubernatorial hopeful Fernandez Baraza and his running mate Ayub Savula are already at Kakamega IEBC offices for clearance to run for the seat in the August 9th polls. Baraza is among the 7 contestants eyeing the seat to be elected as the second Kakamega governor after the incumbent Wycliffe Oparanya, who has served for 2 terms. Let's now cross over to Kakamega County, where our reporter Violet Auma is joining us live. Good afternoon, Violet. Kindly bring us up to speed.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. Just as you said, today we are at IEBC offices where gubernatorial hopeful Fernandez Baraza and his running mate Ayub Savula have just arrived here at the IEBC offices, and verification of the papers is going on right now in the IEBC offices right now. And of course, he is among the 7 gubernatorial aspirants here in Kakamega County. Of course, among them is Senator Cleophas Malala, who is also eyeing the gubernatorial seat, together with Cyrus Jirongo, Michael Osundwa, among others. But here I'm just joined with locals here, and one of the leaders as well, who will tell us, probably because some of them have been saying they have issues with IEBC. We've had also some complaining about the hitches, the network issues, and I don't know, as the locals, if they have they think IEBC is going to deliver credible elections in August 9th polls. Probably tell us your names and where you sit, you have accompanied the gubernatorial aspirant Fernandez Baraza. Do you believe that IEBC is going to deliver credible elections in August 9th? Kindly move on.
Yeah, my name is Penina Mkabane, the first county minister for environment in this county, and I have confidence that IEBC is going to deliver credible and verifiable elections, because I have had a session with the county returning officer, and he assured me that he is going to follow everything and all the rules are going to be followed to the letter. There could be some delays, but the delays may have been occasioned by the candidates themselves. For instance, there are those whereby it was not clear whether they resigned in good time by February 9th, as stipulated by the law, while others had got their own issues. Others have got questionable background in terms of education as to whether they have the papers that they need to have or not. But that is necessary because as people of Kakamega, we want to be sure that we are being led by a governor who is well-schooled, who has enough experience, a governor who also has managerial experience. And for me, because I am in ODM and I've accompanied my governor candidate, Honorable Fernandez Baraza, I am sure and I want to assure the people of Kakamega that he will make the best governor for this county.
You've served under Governor Oparanya as a Minister of Health, the CC Health. Yes. Do you think Fernandez is better placed, among the 7 who are aspiring to be governors in Kakamega?
Yes, looking at the 7 other gubernatorial candidates, I have confidence that Honorable Fernandez Baraza will deliver the best managerial experience for us. He has been a CEO in various places. He has managed his job as a CEO very well. I'm also confident that since Governor Oparanya also has confidence in him and he has given us the best foundation ever, we wouldn't want anyone who would interfere with that foundation. Instead, we would want someone who would build on it and give us a better Kakamega in future. Okay. And that is none other than Fernandez Baraza. Yeah, we are also happy with our presidential candidate, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, for giving us the position of Minister for Finance without conditions. Because the other side, they have been given conditions that they must deliver 70% of the Western vote. But we all know that Western is a stronghold of ODM.
But why did you step down? Because I believe you are also one of the candidates who are aspiring for women representative Kakamega County. Just the other day, you declared that you're not in the race.
Yes, I was running as a woman rep on a UDA ticket. Unfortunately, I discovered that Kenya Kwanza is not a democratic coalition because they did not hold nominations. Instead, they gave someone a ticket behind, I would call it behind the scenes, without following the opinion poll that had been there, without doing a ballot nomination. And to me, I think it will not make a good government because it lacks transparency and accountability.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much. So that is Penina Mkabane. He's been vying for women representative Kakamega County. But of course, as she said, she stepped down and currently she's supporting ODM candidate here in Kakamega County. She has just accompanied gubernatorial aspirant Fernandez Baraza and the running mate. Initially, we've seen the running mate who came in a bit earlier, and of course we've also received some information from Moi University where most of the students there they were questioning the certificate of the running mate, Ayub Savula, but of course we'll just follow up and get to see if at all he'll be cleared. But he came a bit earlier just to ensure that his papers are okay before the running mate, Fernandez Baraza, and the team came in. We've seen him coming in with some of the leaders from Kakamega County allied to AZIMIO La Umoja, and of course we'll just continue informing our viewers at TV47 what is happening. But right now, as we had said earlier, we have 7 gubernatorial aspirants here in Kakamega County. County. Among them are Suleiman Sumba, Cyrus Jirongo, Michael Osundwa, Opito Otieno, FCPA Fernandez Baraza, who is in, and Aib Savula, who is the running mate. We also have Samuel Omkoko, who will be coming in later on at 2 p.m. also to submit his nomination papers today, and later on tomorrow. We will have Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala, who will also be coming at the IEBC tomorrow to bring his nomination papers, and he's vying for gubernatorial for gubernatorial post here in Kakamega County and Kenya Kwanza in ANC under the Kenya Kwanza coalition. Of course, we'll just continue, keeping an eye on everything that is happening here. We'll be able to tell our viewers at TV47 if at all the gubernatorial aspirant under AZIMIO La Umoja Fernandez Baraza and his running mate Ayub Savula will have been cleared or not. And also tomorrow, we'll also be able to tell our viewers if Senator Malala, who also vying for the same seat, will also be cleared here at the IEBC Kakamega County. Back to you, Dennis, to the studios.
Right, thank you very much, Violet Auma, coming to us live from Kakamega County with that comprehensive update. Now from Kakamega County, cross over to WAJIR, where Wiper gubernatorial aspirant for WAJIR County, Siad Abdullahi, has officially been cleared by IEBC to run for WAJIR gubernatorial race. While receiving his clearance certificate, Siad, together with his deputy, said it's time to restore hope in WAJIR County. Siad will now face other candidates from UDA, AZIMIO allied parties and independent candidates.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. One more.
Now, Funyula Member of Parliament Dr. Oundo Mudenyo, former Northern Teso Member of Parliament Arthur Odera, and Busia gubernatorial aspirant Dr. Paul Otuoma have continued to question and criticize the accountability of Busia County under its current leadership, saying that the leaders have failed to take advantage of devolution for the development of the county. Speaking in Busia town after Dr. Paul Otuoma was cleared by the IEBC to vie for the gubernatorial seat, the leaders pointed an accusing finger at the current leadership for not making good use of the 7 billion shillings allocated to the county. Further, that the negligence of the current leadership is the reason Busia County is currently ranked among the poorest counties in the country. Busia County Senator James Orengo Busia County Senator echoed the leaders' sentiments while drumming up support for the AZIMIO La Umoja One Kenya presidential candidate Raila Odinga, as well as calling on residents to vet all aspirants well and vote in leaders of integrity who portray a promising future for the residents.
Tukawa na matarajio makubwa tangu 2013, yote yalididimia. Leo hii katika hii Busia tunatafuta mtu ambaye tutamtuma kumwambia farao wa umasikini, farao wa wizi, farao wa uzembe. Tunataka kumwambia farao, let my people go. Ndio baba akisema ni baba care, Otuoma anapeana dawa. Baba akisema wa mama na widows na single mothers wote wako hapa. Raila akisema hawapata shilingi 6,000, Otuoma naye analipa school fees. Tusaidie watu wetu.
Elections si sarakasi. Election ni kwa sababu tunataka nguvu kazi za kiserikali, tuwe na political power. Kwa hivyo on the 9th of August, chama ni ODM.
And that was James Orengo, the Siaya County Senator, who was addressing the public. Now, on that note, we are due a short break, but don't go too far. When we come back, we'll be giving you more news as well as some sporting action.
Despite being visually impaired, he is a jack of all trades. Here's our quest to find answers on how to take care of children with special needs and those with disability. You do not need to see musical notes to understand music, but rather to have your soul feel the vibe.
Actually, for us to make a wheelchair, we have to take measurements of the user.
After doing my assessment, I get to know the parent, I get to know the heaviness she's carrying.
Disability comes at different stages of life.
How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Benjamin Cheboy and Eldama Ravine Member of Parliament Moses Lesonet have been given the green light by the Electoral Commission to run for the seat and hold peaceful elections.
Kenya kwanza kama kaunti yetu ya Baringo, mimi pia niko pale, tulianza pamoja. Waje nimeenda independent, tuko pamoja katika nafasi hii ya kuombea naibu wa rais, akuwe rais wa 5. Sisi ambao tunaomba kura, tuendelesheni mambo yetu kwa njia ya amani na kwa njia ya upendo. Tusipigiane kelele.
Nataka tu kuwauliza wale wote ambao tunashindana na wale wote wanashindania uongozi katika Kenya hii, wafanye kampeni zao kwa njia ya amani. Tujue kwamba kwa kila ushindani ama kwa kila wakati watu wanashindana, kuna mmoja ambaye atashinda. Wale wengine waheshimu matokeo ya
Umoja Summit Party presidential candidate Walter MONG'ARE, popularly known as Nyambane, has asserted his presidential bid, insisting that he is ready to battle it out in the coming August 9th election. Speaking after attending a church service in Nairobi, the comedian turned politician has said that Kenyans deserve a leader who is willing to put the interests of citizens ahead of his own, while insisting on peaceful campaigns ahead of the polls.
Tunapotafuta kura, tutafute kura kwa amani, tutafute kura kwa heshima, na tujue kwamba sisi ni wacha Mungu. Haitakuwa vema nisimame katika mbele ya watu wa kanisa nimtukane mwenzangu ambaye anatafuta uongozi.
Wengi wamesema kwamba kumekuwa na 2 horses. Tulikuwa tunawapatia nafasi ya kujitayarisha. Sasa kile tunataka tuambie watu, sisi ni watu wa imani, sisi ni watu wa cha Mungu, na sisi tumeumbwa na Mungu in his own image. Kwa hivyo itakuwa ni makosa kuanza kujiita horses. Sisi ni binadamu na sisi ni wa Kenya, na sasa tuko tayari kwa ballot, na tuko kwa ballot kwa kinyang'anyiro cha kupatia wa Kenya nafasi kutafuta ama kuchagua yule kiongozi ambaye wanampenda na yule kiongozi ambaye anaongelea mambo yenye yanahusu wa Kenya na sio mambo ya kibinafsi.
Meanwhile, religious leaders in Kajiado have called on all political leaders to embrace peaceful campaigns ahead of the general elections. They were speaking at Kajiado Central Member of Parliament Elijah Memupsi's home ground during the preparations of his wife's funeral, who passed on last week in a tragic road accident. Led by Shiloh Sanctuary Church Bishop Gabriel Pulei, they said dirty politics will not be tolerated and those behind them should be identified and blocked from contesting for political seats in the August polls. Bishop Pulei also asked voters to only vote for leaders with agendas and not propagandas.
Leo
tumekuja hapa kuomboleza pamoja na mbunge wetu wa Kajiado ya Kati, Mheshimiwa Memusi Kanchori, kwa kumpoteza mkeo. Na tumepata fursa ya kuuliza wananchi wa Kenya wafanye siasa ya amani, wanasiasa wafanye siasa ya amani, na wananchi pia wasikubali kutumiwa na wanasiasa, maana baada ya tarehe 9 mwezi Agosti bado sisi tunabaki kama taifa la Kenya.
Tusitusiane, tufanye siasa ya amani. Sisi wote ni watu wa Kajiado County. Kabila zote ziko huku. Let us do our campaigns in peace. Tusitukanane. Uza sera yako, Sakuda auze sera zake, na mwishowe wacha wananchi wa Kajiado County waweze kuchagua viongozi.
Sisi kama kanisa, ukisoma maandiko, kuna wakati ambao hata wanafunzi walimuuliza Yesu, tumekufuata wakati wa baridi, wakati wa jua kali, sisi tutapata nini katika kufuata? Na Yesu akawaambia, mtapata 100% duniani kama vile mtapata mbinguni. Hivyo tu ndio tunataka pia kuuliza wanasiasa.
Now, farmers in Migori County have adopted organic and scientific farming methods to improve crop production and cut unnecessary costs. Robert Amianda, a farmer from Suna East Sub-County, acknowledges that he has been practicing organic and scientific farming for 4 years after receiving training organized by the Migori County government and a non-governmental organization known as Senda Cow. In addition, he has proved that the scientific method has affected farmers in the area, saying that the garden planting plan also preserves production of water and nutritional nutrients.
Kutana na Senda Cow, sasa nikaanza kulima. Nalima ndizi, paipai, mabadiliko makubwa kwa sababu sasa naweza kupata pesa kila wakati. Hina hapo nyuma nilikuwa napata pesa once. Baada ya kutumbako kuisha, sasa hakuna mahali pengine kupata pesa.
Pia tunasikia vizuri. Hata saa hii watoto hatusumbukani kulipa karo, tunalipa vile inawezekana. Saa hii watoto hawakai nyumbani.
Wakaniletea breeding cock moja. Sasa itabidi improve our poultry. Hiyo the first one tuliuza, tukanunua mbuzi.
It really helped the farmers to the extent that now they are self-reliant, they are sustainable. We started by training them specifically on planting of vegetables. We trained them on savings and loaning. And now from the vegetables and the savings, they managed to buy their own poultry. That is, each farmer was getting at least 2 birds.
Elsewhere, various leaders drawn from the Kenya National Union of Teachers (NAT) in Busia and Teso have today held a consultative meeting to discuss challenges facing the education sector in primary schools and the various mitigation measures needed to overcome the challenges. The leaders have blamed the government for failing to facilitate proper infrastructure in the education sector in Busia County. The leaders have pointed out that the lack of enough classrooms for children in kindergarten, poor roads and poor pay for the teachers in primary school are some of the contributing factors to the wanting education sector in the county. Led by the former Funyula Member of Parliament, Dr. Paul Otuoma, who had attended the consultative meeting, the leaders have called on the government to revamp the education sector by providing the proper infrastructure so as to enable the county compete with others in the country.
Nilisikia jana wale washikadau wa elimu kutoka national government wakisema kwamba hali ya elimu yetu imedorora kidogo, na ikiwa Mungu atatusaidia wengine tuingie katika county, ni muhimu tushirikiane na wale washikadau tuweze kuona ni shida ni zipi na tunaweza kutatua vipi.
Shule za chekechea zote ziko chini ya kaunti. Kufikia sasa hivi tuko na shule nyingi sana ambazo hazina madarasa za ECD. Na mkitaka kuconfirm, mfano mzuri sana ni ile shule mimi ninasimamia inaitwa Kolanya Boys Primary School. Haina hata darasa moja la ECD. Vile vile sisi kama watetezi wa walimu, changamoto nyingine ni kwamba walimu wenzetu wa ECDA, ukiangalia malipo yao, ukilinganisha na wale wa Kakamega na wale wa Bungoma, sisi Busia tuko chini. Walimu wetu wanalipwa mshahara iliyo duni. Shule zetu zingine haziwezi sasa hivi kufikiwa na gari.
Kuna shule ambazo barabara ni mbovu, ukitaka kwenda kwa hiyo shule lazima labda utumie pikipiki.
Kuna darasa ambazo zimejengwa katika shule zetu za msingi, unapata kuna darasa moja katika kila shule. Hazina materials kama vile chairs, meza za hao wanafunzi. Unapata meza 2-3 kwa wanafunzi 200 ama wanafunzi 100, ama kuna PP1 na PP2 wote katika darasa moja. Kwa hivyo the physical infrastructure is not enough.
Now that was Paul Otom, of course, talking and discussing matters of upgrading the state of education in Busia County. Of course, they're looking towards upgrading the state of education in Busia County. Now, the world, or rather us, the country has surpassed the 10% forest cover by more than 2% that was being spearheaded by the government. This was revealed as the world marked the World Environmental Day. Now, Boniface Barasa tells us more.
Speaking in Kajiado, the Kenya Forest Service Conservator Julius Kamau noted that the country has surpassed the 10% forest cover.
His Excellency the President brought that target forward in 2018 and said we must achieve and surpass 10% tree cover by 2022. And it is also encouraging to see that we have been able to surpass the 10% tree cover, and now we are 12.13%.
Now, as you can easily guess, all that work cannot be done without funding, and this is why we are all here today, and this is why your support is so important for what we are doing at Rwanda.
In Kiambu County, the Institution of Engineers of Kenya planted indigenous trees in partnership with the University of Nairobi engineering students under a campaign dubbed Build a House, Plant a Tree.
Our infrastructure brings in the vehicles and traffics, and since there is traffic and vehicle, there is the methane emissions. So the planting of trees, we are showing that. Putting the plant cover, the tree covers, we are able to reduce the emissions to the environment, thus reducing the impacts and mitigating the climate change impacts that we'll have in the future generation.
And without conserving environment, these all infrastructures will be nothing. So this day is very important for us. We aid in planting trees as a means of conserving the environment.
And in Trans Nzoia County, the county government is spearheading a legislation that will see encroachment of water sources being dealt with, a move that will go a long way in protecting water sources.
It was realized that a lot of these springs are being destroyed through encroachment, and the act that is going to be enacted soon is going to also protect those kind of water sources.
Ni vizuri ufadhili wa uhifadhi wa mazingira uweze kuongezewa ama uweze kusingatiwa katika hali ya kifedha.
Tunasisitiza katika nchi yetu ya Kenya ya kwamba lazima tuyahifadhi mazingira. Tunapoadhimisha siku hii, isiwe tu ni siku kama siku yoyote ile. Ni siku ambayo inastahili kuwa siku kubwa tu.
Environmentalists who took part in today's commemoration said there is need to protect the environment since it provides an enabling environment for a thriving tourism sector.
We want to make sure that our prosperity is guaranteed